Wally Porter on the middle road and his daughter Donna Porter Miller. Thank you very much, Wally, for volunteering to talk to me.
Yep.
I have about an hour and a half worth of questions, and hopefully they're not going to be too awful bad. And just tell me to speak up a little bit.
Yep.
Who were your father's parents, Wally?
My father's birth was Felicitas Porter, and he married a Washburn girl in Stanley.
Felicitas Porter. Do you know where the Porters came from?
Albany.
He came from Albany.
He came up from Albany, got acquainted with her, and got married.
Do you have any idea what decade this would have been that Felicitas came from Albany?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Did he work for a farmer over?
Well, he owned a farm over outside of Rushville. You go up the road that goes to Hall and turn right on the road that goes up there a ways, and he had a farm there. That's where he farmed it.
Okay.
And his wife died, and he just turned out to be a bum.
Did he really? When she died, he lost.
My father married my mother's pictures on the wall over there.
Okay.
And they got married sometime in 1902 or 3 or 4, somewhere along in there. I don't remember. I was born August the 10th.
Okay,
in
now
1908.
Let's go back to Felicitas then.
Yeah.
His wife's name was what? She was a Washburn, you
Washburn. She was a Washburn. I don't know what her first name was.
Okay, and she died young?
Yeah, she
Okay.
must have, because I don't remember.
Do you know how many kids they had?
Just my father.
Just your dad?
Yep.
Okay, and your father's name was what?
Joseph.
Joseph. Okay. And he grew up then over near Gorham?
Who?
Where did he grow up, your dad?
They lived they grew up in Rushville, he did.
Rushville.
That's where I was born, in Rushville.
Oh, okay. Now your father was Joseph, and what was your mother's maiden name?
Green.
Green. Okay.
She was a sister of all the Greens. There was 5 girls and 2 boys.
Okay. What was her first name?
Oh, Elaine.
Was it Irene?
Who?
Irene?
No.
No?
Okay.
I don't know.
I can't think of it.
How did your...
I go to bed and think about things, they'll pop right out.
What, 5 minutes after I leave. How did your dad and your mom meet?
I don't know.
Okay. Where did they set up housekeeping?
In Rushville.
In Rushville?
The second house above the post office. There was a driveway back in there. There was a house back in here. Dr. Wilkins owned the house on this corner. He was the doctor in Rushville.
Okay. Did you get to the house by Main Street or up that Bryant Street? How did you get to the house?
Oh, you go in that driveway.
Okay.
Above the second house, above the driveway, the lane was back in. It's still there. The house is still there.
How did your father make a living?
Baling hay with the old upright hay press and a team of horses. That's what he had.
Now, what would he be doing in the summertime?
I suppose he worked for different ones.
Would he work by the day?
I don't know.
You think? Working? Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Me? I had one sister.
One sister.
They had one child before I was born, and it didn't live very long.
Okay. Was that a boy or a girl?
Along and I'm still here.
Was that a boy or a girl that died early?
The what?
Was it a boy or a girl?
That died?
Yes.
It was a girl.
Okay, she died early. And then did you have another sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was that?
Wally Porter is my sister.
Okay. Is she still with us?
No.
Okay, when did she die?
Oh, she died when she was 61. But
61?
quite a while ago.
Okay. Was she younger or older than you?
Younger.
She was younger. Did she marry?
Yeah, married Ted Dewey down here.
Oh, Helen. Oh, okay. Yes. Helen, yes.
You know her.
Now I remember.
Sure.
Okay. I didn't hear Helen. Yes, I do know who you're talking about now. Linda's mom.
The trouble is we're getting ahead of our stories all the time.
That's okay. That's all right. Now, you were born what year and what month and what day?
August the 10th, 1908.
Okay. August 1908. So you are how old right now?
I'm 95.
95.
I'll be 96 in August.
Well, you're looking pretty good. When you were 6 and 7 and 8 years old, was your family living in Rushville?
No, they lived on the farm down here. I was 4 years old when they moved down here.
Okay, so your father and mother moved down 3 houses north of you to the farm that you had.
Yeah.
How was your father able to scrape together the money to buy a farm?
I wouldn't know. The only thing I can say that he bought the farm and he had an uncle, Washburn and Stanley, that gave him the money to pay for it. And he paid it off as he went along.
Okay, now you said you were 4 years old when you came on the middle
Yep.
road. So that was 1912.
Yeah.
Okay. You went to school at the Turner
Yeah.
District
Down here.
on the Turner Road?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you walk with any other kids besides your sister?
sister. There
Okay.
was only 4 kids that went there. The Moser, Walt Moser, owned the corner house down there. He had 2 boys, Wayne and Edward Moser. They were the only 4 that went to school there. Ethel Powell, up there on Rich Corners Road, was the teacher.
You only had 4 kids during most of your time?
At
In
the
that
time
school?
down there, was 4 kids.
Really? So
That's
two
all it
po-
was. It was quite a few years. It went like that. And then all at once, there was a Landfair bunch moved over on the Kip Road. They had 5 or 6 kids, so we had a lot of kids in the school then.
What was the last name?
Landfair. Their name was Landfair.
Lamfair. Okay, I see. There weren't kids living on Lincoln Hill Road that would have been close enough to
Yes, when I went to school the first time, there was 25 kids there.
come on Turner Road School?
There was Bill Henry, the Rifle Boys, the Squareses on the lake, the Tories, the whole bunch was there that first year I went to school. And Ethel Powell up there, they kept picking on me, you know.
The boys did?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
you were younger?
She come down and says, like that to me, you come with me. So got a chair and I sat right side of her desk up there. And she says, no, they won't pick on you. They all graduated, they quit that year after when spring come.
So, do I have,
That's how I happened to be the 4 of us there.
because there was a whole bunch of older kids and they quit
Yep.
or
Yep.
went to the
Like-
academy?
You remember the Tories, the Squareses and all that stuff on the lake?
I just remember Bill Henry.
Lincoln Hill, the Tories, or the Wifles and the Hendrys and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
So Ethel Powell was your first teacher?
Yep.
Okay. And the Mosers and your sister were there. Did you hang around with the Mosier boys?
Oh yeah, we was a lot together.
When you were 7 and 8 and 9 years of age, who were your best friends? Just those 2 kids?
Yeah, the boys and we was always together. My
Okay.
sister was always right with me.
Okay.
She's just like a tomboy. Anything I did, she'd do.
What did you like most about country school?
Oh, I don't know. They do. They get right around. She'd tell you how to do it. If you didn't know how to do it, she'd show you.
Okay.
Then you knew what you was going to do the next time.
Because there weren't a lot of kids there,
Yeah.
correct? Um, what did you take? Did you take a sandwich or apples or stuff
Yeah,
for
we
lunch?
took our Sanders.
Okay.
Yep.
You never had a hot meal then, did you? Going to school there?
No. We just had our sandwich or an apple or something.
Did Ethel ring the bell and you were expected to be there pretty quick? Was there a bell there at that school?
Oh, we was always there ahead of time.
Did she have a bell that she rang? An outside bell?
Yeah, well, there used to be a well on the top of the house up there. She could ring that.
Was-
There's a cupola up there on it.
Okay. Was there a privy attached
Yeah,
to the
one on each
school?
side. One for boys, one for the girls.
Well, the girls didn't get much use, did it?
Well, there was only one there.
Okay, so there were two privies then.
Yeah.
All right. Was there a round oak or a wood stove there for heat?
Yeah. There was a stove in there they burnt coal in.
Was that kind of in the middle of school or where was it?
Was it what?
Was it in the middle of the school house?
Well, we all set up near the teacher because she wanted us up there so she keep track of us better.
Okay. Did you have homework that you had to bring home?
No, not then.
Not then.
See, when she was there, we got our work done before we came home, and that was all there was to it.
About what? Do you remember what time you had to be there?
We had to be there at 9 o'clock.
Okay. And did you have a recess for lunch?
Yep.
Okay. And did you have another little recess in the morning or afternoon?
Yeah, we'd eat our lunch and I'd go on up in the gully there, up and under the bridge and all over. We was all over. And one time, well, I'll go, this will be later on.
Oh, go ahead and tell me now.
Huh?
Go ahead and tell me now so we don't forget.
There was other boys that after they got a lot of kids going to school. It was like this family over here, they had boys and everything. And they go up there on the bridge. One of them had a package of cigarettes, so we had to smoke a little bit.
During recess? Did Ethel ever find out about that?
Oh yeah, we got bowled out for that.
Did she ever take a switch to you?
No,
No switch.
no switch. She
Okay.
just bowled us out with her tongue.
Oh, I bet she did.
And I don't know. I know I didn't smoke very much because the darn stuff, I wasn't used to smoking, you know, and it burnt my tongue.
How old were you when this happened?
I was probably 8 years old, something like that.
Back then, was the Turner Road called the Turner Road or was there another name?
It's always been Turner Road.
And his middle road in your lifetime always been Middle
Yeah.
Road? Okay. With only a few kids there, did you have any school plays or anything, or just stuck to your lessons?
Oh, we didn't do much playing because there wasn't enough of us to play ball or anything.
So even when you went to recess, you'd just go outside and mess
Go
around in the
outside.
gully?
Go to the job and then get out or roll around and exercise a little bit. When it's time to go back, we'd go back.
Okay. Now, the school year was about from when to when? When did you have to report to school? What month would that have been?
Oh. Let's see. I think we had to go to school in September.
Did you ever?
No, May, something like that.
Did your dad ever have you stay home from school to help on the farm?
No,
Really?
I wasn't big enough to do too much for a while.
Okay.
I know once I came home, he was planting grain down there on the long field, clear across it. It was long, clear across. He fit a piece, then they drilled it with the horses on the drill. And I come home, he says, would you like to run that up the other end of the road? Oh, I said, I don't know. I can try it. Well, he says, you get on the seat. I'll tell you how to put it in gear. And let up on the clutch. Easy. And he says, start the other end of the road. Drive the stuff, line up with the other, where I'd been. So when you get the other end, you stop it. When I get there, I'll turn you around and send you back. That's how I learned how to drive tractor.
Now,
It was an old 816 International chain drive tractor.
okay, about how old would you have been then?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Well, probably not over 8, 10 years old. I wasn't very old.
I thought you were going to tell me that your dad had you working with horses. Did your dad have horses out here on this farm when you moved out from Rushville?
Yep.
How many acres were on your home farm here?
98.
98 acres.
Yeah.
And was that your dad and you and a hired man, or who was running the show?
Well, he done most of the work himself. I could help. I know I used to take one horse cultivator and cultivate the corn.
What crops did you raise on your 98 acres?
He raised his oats and corn and all that stuff, hay. He didn't keep too many cattle, but he always had 5 or 6 horses.
Did you raise any like carrots or potatoes or?
No.
So was it
No vegetables or nothing.
was it oats and wheat and
Oats,
hay
wheat,
and corn?
hay, corn.
Raised some corn.
Yep.
Okay, so you had about 5 or 6 horses.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite? Favorite horse?
Oh yeah.
What was its name?
I don't know.
Don't remember.
I don't remember.
Did you have a couple of milk cows?
He had about 6 all the time.
About 6.
About 6 cows.
That's quite a bit, isn't it? Quite a number. Back in those days?
He always milked them by hand.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you have Holstein or Guernsey or?
Well, they were black and white. That's what they were. I don't know. Well, they're all Holsteins or what?
Okay. So you had horses and you had some cows. Did you have sheep or pigs?
I always had a few pigs around. Grow your own meat. You always had a coop with chickens in.
Now, once your dad had the farm here with 98 acres, did he get out of the custom hay business?
You mean baling hay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the hay press sat in the barn there for quite a few years, and I don't remember what happened to it.
Okay. Now, did you ever remember any thrashing bees or parties? When Phil Freer or somebody bring a thrashing machine around?
But More Esty was the guy that done the thrashing then.
Did Morris Esty live his later life over near Hopewell?
Yep.
Okay. Tell me what you remember about thrashing. How many men would it take? And tell me about some of the meals that your mother put on.
Yeah, I know. They always, at the time, they used to put it in the barn, and then they'd move in and thrash it out. But it got so on the latter end that they thrash it out of the field. The neighbors all get together with their wagons, load them on, and put them in the thrashing machine and thrash them out outdoors.
Now, is this beans or oats or what are we thrashing?
All of them.
All of them.
Yep.
Okay, so Morris Esty would come in like first to your farm and then to Arnold's or something like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Arms, Sirs used to want the pews used to be across the road.
Depews were?
Yeah.
Was that related to Clayton or Jimmy Depew or that ended up over
Oh, they were cousins or
near
something like
Lightfoot's?
that. Yeah.
Okay. You had pretty good meals when the thrashers were coming, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
What'd you have?
Oh, I don't remember.
Did you get some better meat When the thrashers were here, then
Always had a big meal at noon.
what did they power the thrashing machines with?
Old steam engine.
A steam engine.
Yep.
Okay.
When Esty done it, he finally graduated over to a mogul. That run was the fuel oil or gasoline or kerosene.
What kind was that?
Mogul. It was a mogul, 2-cylinder.
Okay. When Estes came out, did he have some other person with him to maintain the thrashing machine, or?
Yeah. He always had a man to pitch into it. Had a scareful. You pitch your stuff up on it and he feed it in the way it's supposed to be going.
Okay. And then, did you have one guy or two guys bagging the grain up?
Yeah. Then they had a guy that would stack the straw outside.
How would you get it stacked once it was as high as you could reach with a pitchfork? How do you stack it?
Oh, they'd boil it in. Well, the first ones they had an elevator. They elevated the straw out,
Okay.
and one or two guys would be out there shoveling around, make a stack, and then let it roll in there and then spread it around. That's how they made the stack.
Into like a barnyard?
Yep.
Okay. Did Estes take the thrashing machine to each individual farm?
Do what?
Did he take the thrashing machine to each individual farm
Oh, yeah.
to do
Yeah,
this?
it was all over.
Did they go to each individual field, or did you have to bring the shocked grain to the thrashing machine?
Well, lots of times, if it was a decent day, well, he'd park it out in the field. But generally, you wanted the straw in the barnyard, so that's he'd park it and blow it in the barnyard.
So you'd bring the grain to the barn.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Most of them, they never thrashed many grain outside until later on. But before, they always take everything in the barn. They move this old machine in the barn, and the tractor would sit outdoors with a bell on it and run it.
Was there ever much of a danger of fire with those thrashing machines?
No,
No?
not that I know of.
Okay. Did your mother do much farm work, or was your father,
Well, I'll have to go back with you to that. My mother wasn't very rugged. She got so she couldn't even wait on herself. She had arthritis so bad she was crippled up. And my sister lived there with her. We were their home all the time. Finally she married Ted Dewey. That was back in 31 or something like that. And I was there. She'd come up every day to help her, get her cleaned up and feed her and everything. But at night I was there with her.
so she was stricken fairly young with arthritis?
Yeah, she died when she was 52.
How long before she died was she incapacitated, would you say?
Quite a while.
Really?
Yeah. It kept coming on, getting worse all the time. And
Well,
had to keep track of her. She was all right. So one morning I went in. I was 16 years old at that time. And I said, Mother, do you want to get up? I didn't get no answer. So I went and told her. And she was still warm. I couldn't get any answer out of her. So I had she had a sister in Geneva. And I went down and told her, well, she says, we'll take care of it. So they took everything. She was buried in Rushville, side of her mother.
so you drove to Geneva and told your aunt that she had died?
Yeah,
Okay. So you said you were 16.
yeah,
So this would have been 1924?
yeah. That's when I got my license to drive.
I guess I'm surprised, Wally, that your dad was able to run a 98-acre farm with you being a little kid. He didn't have any day help or anything?
No.
Must
Neighbors would all, if he had something you wanted to do, well, the neighbors would all help each other.
He must have been a pretty hard-working fella.
Yeah. Of course, it was all done with horses till he got his tractor. He bought that out the Canandaigua when they had the Ontario County Fair up where the schools are there now.
The senior
I remember
academy?
when he bought the thing, God, I walked around, I remember that he says, would you like to have that? I says, gee, I'd like to, but I don't know if I can run it. And that's how I learned how to run tractors. When I come home from school, he put me on it and run across the field.
Now this was an international harvester.
Yep,
Were they red back then or gray?
they were red.
It was red. I bet that was a pretty looking tractor, wasn't
You
it?
know. They were chain drive at the time, and he didn't keep it too many years because the chains wore out, and it cost like money because of replace them, so he didn't do anything about it. Our farmers had the agency at that time. When they bought the 816, well, somebody else had it, but our farmers, you know, lived over here towards Forum. He sold, they come out with a 1020.
Okay.
And he came over one day and he said to him, I'll give you so much for it, and trade it in for a 1020. So he bought the 1020, and I got so I could handle that pretty good. So
Now 1020, was that a John Deere or was that an international?
international.
Okay. Now where was this Farnsworth shop?
Well, he was over on that crossroad.
If you think of it later, let me know.
Huh?
If you think of where his shop was, I'd be interested.
He didn't have it in his shop.
Okay.
He just he lives on a farm over there.
Okay. Would he get tractors brought in by train?
Do what?
Would he get his tractors that he sold brought in by train?
I don't know how they all brought them. They used to have a store in Canandaigua. They get one of them tractors in the building, they had a heck of a time getting it in there, and then they had a heck of a time getting it out. It's in there. In there where, I can't think of. The first store off Bristol Street, north, was always been there, still there. Then on the end of it was a little alleyway store in front. He had to bring it into the back end.
Okay, that'd be where Eddie O'Brien's is now, wouldn't
Yeah.
it, Donna? Okay, it's a restaurant now.
Yeah.
What did you, when you were 10 or 11 or 12 years old, Wally, what did you like to do for fun? What did you do for fun?
Well, Earl Winnie used to run the store over each corner.
Yep.
The bunch of us kids will always get there every night, buy a ice cream cone or candy, and gab. The
Yeah.
Graham kids and the Wyfo kids, a whole bunch of us was there. Then when it got dark, I had an alleyway. I walked cross lots to get there. I had it all wore down good. I couldn't get across to get up there.
So you crossed Powell Road?
No.
No, you're east of
I
Powell
went out
Road.
the back way and went across over on the Gage farm
Okay.
into the store. Then I got ready to come home. I come over past where the old fairground was, crossed that, and that wasn't only a little ways down to my father's farm. Then I went around home.
So 15 minutes you could have made it from one place to the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd gab at the store and talk to your friends. You talked to your friends there. Did you ever take a bicycle or a horse, or did you always walk?
I got a bicycle. I said to somebody, one of the other kids had bicycles. I said, I'd like to have one of them. And, well, one of them says, I know where there's one that needs fixing. So I went and bought the thing. I don't know what I give for it, not much. I brought it home, I figured around with it. Finally I got it so I could pedal it and go. And I used to ride that around for a while.
I bet you made pretty good time. Now the Brams lived, do you ever remember there being 2 stores in Reed's Corners, or do you only remember 1?
In the store,
Do you remember 2 stores in
No.
Reed's Corners?
just one story there.
When you were there, okay.
Right next to the house. It was built right on the house. It's still there. But
Okay.
they don't nobody run the store anymore.
Now, when you say the store, is it the 3rd building from the corner? Or was it in the house that was the 2nd one from the...
It was the second house from the corner that goes to Gore.
Yeah. So the store was in
It's
that
still
house.
there. It's still right there.
Was the store the 1-story building or in the
It's a
house?
one-story building. It was built right outside the house.
Okay, who built that 1-story house, do
I
you
don't
know?
know.
Okay.
No, I
But
don't
who
know.
was running it when you were, who was running it in 1930? What was the name of the people running it then? Winnie? When you were a kid?
Heck. I guess Earl Winnie was one at that time.
And Clara?
Yeah.
Earl and Clara?
And he sold to. I can't think the guy's name. He lives over in
Harder.
Bristol Center now.
Julian Harder?
Harder,
Yeah, okay.
And he run it for a long time.
Now, who were some of the colorful characters that would sit around there at the
Oh,
store?
everybody, all the neighbors all come in. Powell's, the Gages, and everything else.
Did any Bighams or Rotes come in?
Yeah.
You remember? Ray Bigham, did he come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever do much fishing or swimming?
No, not me. I never was a fisherman.
Really? How about hunting?
I always hunt a little bit.
What did you hunt?
Well, anything I could shoot.
Did you use your gun or your dad's gun?
Well, I used to trap it. Catch skunks. I got sick and tired of getting blown up with stink, you know.
You would trap skunks?
All the skunks. Oh yeah, we always trapped a lot of skunks. I killed a lot of them. I got pretty fair money, $5, $6 for a skin. A skin if it was a plain black one. If you had a lot of white on it, they didn't want it.
Well, how did you trap them and they die, and then you'd get sprayed if the thing was still alive?
Oh, you
wouldn't
had to be careful, or they turn their butt towards you and spray you. You get that stink all over you. Then I go home, I get walled out because I got that on me. So I says, when I got, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, there's a guy in Rushville sold guns, and there where Martin's used to, where our store was there.
Bruce
I
Martin?
Hmm?
Where Bruce Martin is?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
same story. But I forget the name. The guy is from Penn running. I went in one day and I says, you got a rifle I can buy? Yeah, I got a one right here is a dandy. It's a Winchester 25. It was a 25 caliber.
Okay.
He said, I said, so what do you want? He wanted $25. Oh God, I said, that's a lot of money. Well, he says, if you get a little money along, you pay me for it and take the gun. So I took the gun. That's how I killed my skunks. I
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
them, and then I want to get
Sprayed.
stuck up.
All right. Now, who bought the skins?
Laverne Gage.
Okay. Was that Johnny Gage and the organist at church,
Yeah.
Gerald's father? Was Laverne Gerald's father?
George Gage is Laverne's father.
Okay, Laverne lived in Reed's Corners, did he?
Yeah, right on the corner there.
Okay.
Right there where they're trying to build on the back end of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Laverne, and who were his kids?
Oh, he had
John.
2 boys.
John and Gerald?
John and the other boy, I can't think of his name.
How was John related to Gerald Gage?
Brothers.
Brothers, okay.
So I couldn't think of it. Gerald, the
Okay.
other boy's name. He died when he was young. Gerald did.
I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him. Tell me about the Reed's Corners Little World's Fair.
Everybody went there.
So tell me what you remember about it. Was it in October?
Oh God, I don't know what time it was. It was during probably some time in September, I would imagine.
September, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
They used to have big fair there. They had a lot of stuff there. Cattle, the farmers bring everything in. Then they had races.
Now, were they sulky races, or were they regular horse races, or car races, or? I heard there was a sulky track there.
Yeah.
What kind of races do you remember?
They used to have horseback riding.
Riding races.
Yeah.
Was the track just dirt or cinders?
No, it was dirt. Just say, most all of them were dirt at that time. Yep.
Was it mostly, was it something like a quarter mile or a third of a mile?
Something like that.
Was it like an oval shape?
We go around like this.
Okay.
I don't remember how many miles it was, how far it was or anything, but they had to go, sometimes they'd go twice around or something.
Were there any buildings in the middle, or was there nothing in the
Well,
middle?
they had stalls for to put the horses in and things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, were there two different ways to get into the fairgrounds?
The only way you can get in is to be in George Gage's driveway. There's a bridge across the bridge that went into the Rich Corners Fairgrounds.
Okay, but wasn't there a driveway near the old hotel also?
Yeah.
Okay.
They both, Gage's driveway and the hotel was right here. You go in here, then you go in both ways to get into it.
Okay.
Had to cross the bridge to get in.
Were there grandstands there?
Yeah.
And did I understand that underneath the grandstands, like the women from the church would be selling pies and all that kind of stuff?
Had all that stuff in there.
Did they have games of chance, different things to bet on, or no?
Well, if you get anything you wanted, generally they'd have everything all that you wanted to eat. So that's all I know about it.
Besides the pies and cakes, they didn't have beer there, did they?
No,
No.
no, there wasn't much moved around then.
I understand that every now and then you could find a fellow with a watermelon with some booze inside. Do you ever hear about
No.
people doing that? Do you ever hear about kids sneaking in under the fence so they wouldn't have to pay to get in?
Yeah.
Were there any fights or any big commotions there?
No,
or-
the kids all got along pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, when you say people come from all over, would people come from like Geneva and Penn Yan
I
to
don't
this
know
thing?
how far away they were, but there'd be quite crowds there when they had the fair.
Would people dress up, or would people wear just ordinary clothes? Was this a big event to be seen
No, they
and see?
didn't dress up much. They just wear clean clothes
Clean clothes.
like that. That's about all.
Did you ever remember seeing any elephants or any things that you might
Not
see?
there.
Okay. Any, like, did they have magicians and that kind of thing?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Were the Porters involved in either of the churches in Reed's Corners?
No, I don't know. I know I was baptized in Rushville in a congregational church.
Congregational church. Okay. When you were 8, 10, 12 years of age, did you go to church in Rushville, Reed Corners, nowhere?
Reach Corners.
You went to Reed's Corners?
Crossroads.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to ride my bicycle.
Which church did you go to?
Well, there used to be one up on the corner up there where the road goes to Gorman's on. There used to be a church there, a Baptist church. I used to go there once in a while.
Okay.
I go to either one of them. I knew most everybody that was in the video, so.
So you went on your own, it wasn't that your mother said, okay, you're going to church today or
No,
whatever?
my mother wasn't able to go anywhere at that time.
Were you ever in a group called Christian Endeavor? That was a group of young people in the 20s and 30s. Were you ever in a group at the church of young people?
Oh, I don't know if I remember that much. I don't think we were.
Okay.
I don't think there was too many of us that went anyhow.
When you went to church, was it more to the Baptist church than the Congregational?
Oh, God. Both of them had pretty good crowds.
Okay.
They come from quite a ways away to come there. They had to go to Gorham to go to church or Rushville. So all the ones that come near the church in Rushville up here, it was closer by.
Do you remember any of the ministers? Asperson or Fordham or any ministers stick
I
out?
don't remember what their names were.
Do you remember who played the piano or the organ in either church? Was Jim Rote playing at the Baptist church?
All the Rotes and everything, most of them went to the Baptist church.
Okay. You remember Jim Rote?
Yep.
What do you tell me about Jim Rote? He was my great-grandfather. I never met him.
Yeah.
What do you remember about him? You can tell me. Don't hold back.
Jim Rote was a big man.
Tall or heavy or?
Oh,
Okay.
quite a good sized man. He owned the farm up there next to
Van
the
Ripers
farm that
and-
runs through the lake
Okay.
down through along on the he owned that, Jim Rote. He'd been there for years. Heber Rote, he was a brother. He was the one down there near Reach Corners.
That was Francis and Anna's
Where-
father?
He was there where,
Frankish?
I can't think of it though. But it's the first real farm out of Reach Corners
Yep.
to the south.
Frankish,
On the
yeah.
right hand side. And there were, what do I owns it now?
Doug Hay.
Hay.
Doug Hay, yeah. You remember socializing with Jim Rote much or no? Really?
You know, he was always a churchgoer.
Churchgoer, okay.
Yeah.
When your family went to buy whatever groceries or whatever, did you go to Rushville or Canandaigua?
To do what?
To trade, to buy things, to shop?
I know my father, when he got the Model T Ford, he bought a Maxwell car once off a guy out of Rushville. And he run into the bridge outside them down there by Roseland, and smashed it up.
Your dad did?
Yep. And then
This was the Maxwell car?
Maxwell car.
Was it slushy or what? How did he happen to run in?
It was a touring car, that's what it was. Yeah.
But how did he happen to run into the bridge? Was it snowy or what caused him to hit the bridge?
I don't remember but he smashed it up, was going to run it anymore.
Oh boy.
So went on without any car. So there was a guy, George Popwell, sold mash cars in Candigo. He bought one of them. Oh, it was a big, rugged car, you know.
Now you were 21 when the stock market crash hit, 1929.
Yep.
Were you folks affected by the Depression a lot, or somewhat, or hardly at all?
We didn't do much of anything then. Money was pretty scarce.
What did you not do in 1930 that 3 years earlier you would have done, you would have had the money for? What was different?
I don't know where the money came from, but you know, my mother died in 1932. I got married in 1933, and we had 2 girls and a boy, Donnie and the 2 girls.
I was talking to George Frankish last fall, and George Frankish said that his dad had $3,000 in the bank,
Yeah.
and he settled for $300 after the banks failed. Did your dad lose money with the banks failing?
I don't know if he had that much. He had an uncle in Stanley that had the mortgage on the place,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
and it went on quite a while. I don't know how many years. Anyhow, his uncle wanted his money because he lost quite a lot of different things. So there was a party in Rushville that lived on the corner by the cemetery, that big house.
Okay.
There was brother and sister there.
Was that the Hurlburt house?
No, across this road.
Okay.
The other side.
And they let out money to everybody. Everybody had mortgages around there with them. And her brother died, and she run the place for a few years, and finally she croaked. I had a mortgage of around $3,500, I think it was. Anyhow,
4,500?
something like that.
About what years are we talking here? When is this?
And I got a letter from a lawyer in Rochester. Wanted me to come up. Oh, I said, I don't want to go up there. I don't know where to go even. So I went up there. It was on Main Street. I found the lawyer. Well, he says, you hit the jackpot. What do you mean by that? I said, well, he says, you got left your mortgage.
Really?
Yeah,
And you had how much on it?
3,500, something like that.
And that, about what year is this are we talking?
Oh, God. I don't know. I can't remember that good enough that far.
Is
I
this
don't
in
know
the-
what year it was.
Is this in the, how old would
Quite a
your,
while ago. It was after we got married and everything, but,
30s, late 30s.
this is in the 30s then?
and,
It was worth the trip to Rochester, wasn't it?
yeah.
So the woman that had the paper on your farm died and left you the farm.
And
Good.
then, after that, the Mosers, he used to work for these prohibition booze places. He used to go around and try to find out who's selling the stuff so he could pinch them.
Oh, he was a revenuer?
revenue.
Is this the father of the Mosier boys that you went to school with?
Yeah.
What was his first name, do you remember?
Walter Moser. And her name was Mabel Moser.
Okay, now did they live in the Ed Shaw house, or where did they live?
Ed Shaw House, that's been there for years.
Okay, but where did Mosiers live?
Hmm?
Where did Mosiers live?
On the corner down there, up from the schoolhouse. It was,
Is there still a house there?
no, it's not in there.
Okay. Who had the house on Middle Road that used to be back up the laneway between Shaw and the
Yes.
corner?
That's the one.
That's the one. Okay. Are any of the Mosiers still around?
I don't know where's any of them. I don't know. They had two boys. Edward was the first one, and the other boy was, I don't know what his name. Edward, he didn't live too long. He moved somewhere else, and the other one went to Pennsylvania somewhere and stayed down there. And I know he ain't alive now, but
These are the kids that went to school with you?
Yeah.
Now, I don't need to know the names, but I'm interested if you remember anything from the 30s about Prohibition or the Ku Klux Klan. You ever, again, I don't need to know the names, but did you ever hear of any Klan activities? Tell me about that you...
They used to have meetings and dress all up and have their meetings.
Where would they do this?
Oh, it'd be sometimes in Rochester, up the Reach Quarters, sometimes Canada going around all over.
Where in Reed's Corners?
Up here.
Now, I know where Reed's Corners is, but where would they meet?
Oh, they used to meet up there at Grange Hall and stuff like that when it was there.
The Ku Klux Klan did?
Yeah.
Okay. The Grange let this group come in and...
Yeah.
What, did you ever go to a Klan meeting?
No.
What did they say at the store that they did at a Klan meeting?
Darn if I know.
Okay. Are we talking the late 20s, or when would this be that there would have been a Ku Klux Klan meetings in Reed's Corners?
Well, it probably, well, sometime around the 30s probably.
30s, okay. Now, when I think of the Ku Klux Klan, I think of them having trouble with blacks, but there weren't many blacks around. Did they have problems with Catholics? Who did they have problems with?
Well, I know that they were against it that way, but I never remember really thinking was going on very much about it.
Okay. You remember they were against what?
And what?
What were they against? What was their main focus?
Gee, I don't know.
Okay. Do you ever remember hearing much about Prohibition or speakeasies or, and again, I don't need to know where, but were there some places like regular homes that you could go and buy booze? Would they have made their own booze, or would they have got it from Rochester or someplace in trucks and stuff? How would they get the booze?
Oh, they used to bring around truckloads of it, different places. There used to be a booze joint, and even down in Cottage City.
When you say a booze joint, did most people think it was a regular home, but the locals knew you could buy booze there, or what?
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be places in Canada, they even had places in Rushville.
How did they work? How did they work? Did you go and give somebody some money and you get your booze, or did you go there to drink?
Oh, they did both.
They did both. Okay. Do you know of more than one place where you could go to drink during Prohibition?
Oh, they never stayed one place very long, just like they do today.
With drugs?
They go one place, then they all get together, they go somewhere else.
Would this be in homes, or would this be in...
No, it's the buildings.
Okay.
They had booth joints around. Like over on the turnpike. There used to be a couple over there. That one is still there yet, but I don't know whether they sell much booze or not. But
Which place is that now? What's it called now?
oh, I don't know what. There was one across the road from the hill over there. On the corner, it went down.
Near Don's?
Don's. And
Don's bar?
there was a place across the road from Don's that sold booze too.
Okay. All right. When you folks were buying your petroleum for your tractors, did you have to go to get it, or did people bring it out to you?
they used to deliver, they used to have a truck. The guy in Canandaigua, no, God, I don't know his name, but I can't think of it now.
Ted Dewey worked for a guy delivering fuel oil, didn't he?
Who?
Ted Dewey?
Yeah.
Didn't Ted work for somebody delivering?
Yeah.
So they would deliver the big barrels out here, would they?
Yeah, they worked for Jack Averill. He used to have the oil business. That's what he delivered. Barrels of oil.
Okay, and how about gasoline?
I don't think he ever delivered any of that.
How'd you get your gasoline? How'd you get your gasoline?
Well, a guy in Canandaigua used to have a delivery truck and deliver it to you.
So your dad had a gasoline tank down at the farm?
He always had barrels with it around.
Barrels of gasoline?
He used to buy it back then, 25 cents a gallon.
Now, let me ask you, you said you had 6 cows. Unless one of them was dry, would you turn the milk into cream or butter, or what would you?
No. Well, I think we got shipping cream. Went to Palmyra at that time.
So you'd ship it to Palmyra. How would you?
You take a can, they go down there, up the railroad station, leave it there, and then they take it down there, and then you go back, get your can after a day or two.
Okay, when you took some more out.
Yeah.
Now, with your raising wheat and oats and hay and corn, where would you sell your wheat to and any extra hay or oats? Where did you sell that stuff?
Caples, Charles Caples used to run an elevator in Canandaigua. You remember where it used to be, don't you?
Benham's? Was it up?
Caples, Charlie Caples.
Okay.
Not Benham's. Benham's up on the other street. Caples is on the one that, well...
Was it near the bowling alley that burned down?
The what?
The bowling alley that burned down?
That's where it was. That's where
Okay.
Caples was.
All right. So you'd haul stuff in there.
Yep.
Did you ever take stuff to Blodgett's in Rushville?
No.
No. Did you ever take stuff over like to Granger Crossing?
I remember back quite a few years ago that I had a wonderful bean crop that year, and I had an early frost and killed it. Well, I got them all together and put it in a stack. Morris Esty thrashed them, and the beans in them were spoiled. The old guy used to run an elevator up from Fitch's there.
In Rushville?
Yep. And I said, what the heck we're going to do with I.O. for the seed? He says, I'll try to get somebody to buy it for feed. So he did.
Got a little something out of it?
And I had a mortgage on my tractor to pay it off. The guy, the collector come around, I don't have any more, my beans are shot. Well, he says to me, he says, I don't want to take your tractor away from you. He says, he stopped in one day, says, you go down to Geneva to the National Bank. I told me the man's name to go in and ask for. I talked to him. Well, he says, I guess we can help you out. How much money you gotta have? I told him, he gave me, and I paid him off down there. In a few years, got all right.
About when would this have been? What years would this have been?
Well, it was probably back in when the 10-20 years was. Gee, I don't remember.
This was after your, how old do you think you were when you had that bean crop that failed?
Yeah.
How old would you have been when that bean crop failed?
I don't know. I lived down on the Mosers were. I lived there. See, I bought, oh God, I'm getting ahead of my horses. But I got that money for the farmland, or where my father was, that mortgage. Then I bought the Moser place too.
Oh, okay.
And
All right. Did you buy that off from some of the Mosers, or was there somebody else there?
I forget who owned it, but there was a guy in Candigo. He was an old guy. I don't know what it is, he was a Dutchman or what he was. But somebody says, you've got to have a mortgage on, you go to him and he'll check it all out for you. So I bought the mortgage off it and paid him off as long as I could. And finally, the barns burned up. I had insurance on it. I had insurance enough to pay it off except $1,000. So he says, don't worry about it. You'll probably get it paid back for long. All you gotta do is pay the interest. So that's what I did. I finally got that paid off. So
What caused the barns to burn?
oh God, I can't think. I don't remember what caused the burn.
Was it an accidental fire, or was it somebody?
No, it was, I think I put hay in the barn and it was too wet.
Okay,
And it burned up.
combustion.
There were 3 sets of barns there. They all went.
So was that,
And one granary on this one was full of oats. And the fire company kept the water away from the oats, so they were all right, yeah. But the rest of it burned up.
this is the Rushville Fire Company?
Can't find out whether that,
Because this would have been before Crystal Beach, probably.
I don't know who came and saved the oats.
Well, during the Depression, you didn't have money to go many places, but did you eat okay
Yeah.
during the Depression?
They always had a big meal for the threshers.
Now your wife's name was Edith, right?
With who?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, well,
How did you and your wife meet?
they lived up here on the corner, Leon Turner's place.
Okay. Oh, she was a Turner?
Yeah, she was a Turner.
Okay.
And we used to always go to the dances, all over the country.
Where were the dances?
Reach Corners, Gore, over in Cheshire, Candigo, maybe in Russia. We always went there with them.
How old were you when you met her?
She was 19 and I was 24. when we got
24.
married.
Okay. How long did you date before you got married?
Oh God, I went with a lot of girls. I had lots of them. I didn't decide who
No
I wanted,
kidding. Well,
but
maybe
they all
that's
had great times we did.
very good, very
Yep.
good. So she was a Turner. Now, when you and her set up housekeeping, what year was that? What year did you get married?
We got married in 1933,
33.
March the 10th.
Where did you get married?
Out to Candigo, to the minister place below where the old academy is.
A church? Did you get married in a church?
My sister and Ted Dewey were as escorts,
Okay.
and
But-
we got married there out in the dooryard.
Was it in a church or a home?
Home,
Home.
out in the dooryard, just below the entrance in where the old academy was. The first
Okay.
house.
All right.
I forget what his name was. Then we got that. Then we used to have a teacher that taught down there in the school in the later years. Well, I remember her. So we went to,
On your honeymoon?
Hmm?
Where's this teacher come in?
she retired from teaching. She lived down to Binghamton or somewhere off in there. So when he got married, we went down and hunted her up.
Visited her,
Yeah.
okay.
We stayed there 2 or 3 nights. Then we went down to Pennsylvania. I had a hired man that used to work for us and hunted him up. We lived down there 2 or 3 days. Then we came back home.
Well, very good. Now, did you live in the Mosier place or the Porter place?
We lived up in the Porter house for a year. Then my father was alive. He didn't want to do nothing about it. And it wasn't in my name or anything, it was in his name. So my father-in-law says, you better come up and live with us and see how they go. And
Was the house a little too crowded for your dad and your mom or and your wife?
I wanted to fix it up, and he didn't want to sign it over to me, and I didn't want to spend it. I had to borrow money if I did anything, so I couldn't do it. So
You wanted to make the place nicer,
yeah.
but he didn't want to, and you
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
So we lived up there for a year. She was born up there in October, Halloween.
What year was that?
34.
1934. Okay. And you had Don and another girl. Who was born first?
Donnie was born first.
He was the oldest.
Donnie was the oldest.
I'm the
And
middle.
then,
And Donna,
and then Gail, she was the last one.
okay.
She's a little over a year younger, something like
Just
that.
about a year.
And where does Gail live?
Down here on Turner Road.
Oh, Gail Baxter.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's related, aren't they? Okay. I didn't realize. I knew there was some tie-in, but I didn't think about that. In the 1941, this is a question I ask everybody. Where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
We were living in
I
a
probably
farm.
was at home, heard about it. I don't know much about it.
Okay. Did you? Now you were on the farm, so you wouldn't have had to go fight. You were
I had
old
both-
enough.
Both farms at that time.
Okay.
We lived down on the Mosier place. We didn't fix that house up where my father lived, and finally, of course, he was a hard cider drinker.
Who's this?
Huh?
Who's a hard cider drinker?
My father.
Your father.
And he got sick. They took him to the hospital. He had the cirrhosis of the liver. And I went out one day, he said, God, I feel pretty good today.
This is at the hospital?
At the hospital, the old one up on Main
Yep.
Street. And I got home, and the telephone rang. He says, are you Wally Porter? Yeah. Your father just passed away. So it went like that.
So how old a man was he when he died?
Oh, he was probably 70-something.
70-something. Okay.
My wife died, she was 52.
No, she was 82.
Your wife was 82 when she
was
died.
52. We got married the
Okay.
next year afterward.
Okay.
She died.
How big was the Mosier farm?
Oh, I think it was 68 acres, something like that.
So you for a while were working the Mosier farm
And the
and the home farm.
He finally croaked, and I had 2 or 3 guys, Tom Dwyer and Gerald's down here, and some of them all signed mortgages so that I could keep going. So that's what happened.
So you had a couple farms. Did you have teenage boys working for you, or who did you have working for you to
I
help?
used to have a Pennsylvania Dutchman. They used to come up from Pennsylvania, want a job, so I didn't have to pay much, $25 a week or something like that, or maybe $25 a month. Maybe he didn't have,